Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I wanted to go ahead and kind of piece together the few things that we've been over. So we went over primers and we went over foundations. So before I go ahead and do the video on concealers, because not everyone wants to use concealers, before I go over that, I want to go ahead and show you how to apply and the different ways to apply what we've covered so far. So we went over primers, and basically the job of the primer is to keep the foundation on your face all day. So it's basically, you need to know what type of skin you have and what effect you're going for in order to know what you need to get to make your foundation last all day. So for me personally, I like the Baby Skin by Maybelline. Kind of my go-to everyday one. So basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna squeeze a little bit of that onto our hand. With clean fingers, we're gonna dab. We're gonna dab it into our skin. And we're gonna make sure that we have a clean face as well, because you don't want to paint on top of a dirty canvas. Now you can, since this isn't necessarily like a colored product or anything, you can kind of, I don't want to say wipe it, but like wipe it across your face, almost like a moisturizer. Okay. Now I like to let my primer sit for a few minutes, just kind of set before I go ahead and start putting foundation on it. So next we're going to go ahead and go in with foundation. So the foundation of your choosing. If you need help picking out a foundation for your skin type or anything like that, refer to my last video on foundations, because in that I kind of go not only through like the different skin types, but like foundation recommendations for each one. So there's several different ways that you can apply foundation. You have the good old classic, use your fingers, which I don't recommend. You also have that you can apply it with a makeup brush, and there's several different kinds of makeup brushes that you can use to apply it. And I'm getting a few of those examples for you right now. So these are the most common makeup brushes to use. This one, you can see it's kind of dirty because I haven't used it in forever and I need to clean it, so I apologize. But this one, you see how like the brushes are kind of like pokey? Well, when you really look in there, there's some brushes that are long and there's some that are really short. So this is called a stippling brush. It basically, it helps your makeup to look more flawless when you apply it with this. I've noticed if I use heavier foundations, ones that aren't as liquidy, it almost gets streaky, so you have to be really careful. This is my personal favorite to use. This is like my daily use foundation brush. It's a little bit fluffier and it's like really dense, like really dense. So this is the one that I like to use for every day. You can also apply it with a sponge, which I have a fresh sponge here that I've never used before. And you can get makeup brushes and sponges for all budgets. Like, I mean, if push come to shove, you can go to the dollar store and get dollar store ones. If you need recommendations for brushes, honestly, I would go with Elf or Morphe are my two favorites. And then after that, there's Eco Tools and there's Real Techniques. So this is an Eco Tool sponge that I have not used yet. So if you decide to go with a sponge, there's a few steps that can kind of help your makeup look a little bit better. So number one would be turn your faucet on in your bathroom or your kitchen or wherever. Take your sponge, run it under the water and squeeze it a few times. It's gonna puff up really big. And then when it stops puffing up after you squeeze it under the water, turn the water off, give it one really good wring to get all that extra water out, and your sponge should still be really puffy, but it'll be damp. So basically what that does is it keeps the sponge from soaking up the foundation, which means that it spreads the amount that you put on there more evenly across your face. Now, I know some people that instead of using water will use this handy dandy product right here. This is the Mario Badescu spray. I heard that recommendation from someone when I worked at Ulta, and it's a really good idea. I haven't personally tried it yet, but I hope to someday when I remember while I'm doing my makeup. But typically, I go in with a brush. So what you use to apply it will determine how heavy of a coverage you get. So I've noticed with brushes, I get a more thick coverage than I do with the sponge. So if you're going for like a more natural look, go with the sponge. If you want a little bit more of a glam, like full face, like it's super obvious that you're wearing makeup, which is what I like to do every day, I like to use a brush. And then if there's any like streaks or anything, use a sponge to kind of even those out and like get them to go away. So we've let our primer sit for a few minutes. We're gonna go and shake up our foundation. Today I'm using the L'Oreal True Match. It's very liquidy, but I like this foundation because it's a little bit more versatile. So like you can put more layers on for a bunch of coverage, or you can keep it light. And I have, mine is the shade Ivory Beige C2.5. Another great thing about this brand is that when you go to the store to buy them, they have them sorted by skin tone. So they have all the warm tones in one section, they have all of the cool tones in another section, they have all the neutrals in one section. So you have to know your skin tone to be able to pick out a color, which you can actually figure out kind of your skin tone by just answering a few questions, like which jewelry looks better on you, silver or gold. If either one looks good on you, you're probably neutral. Another way to tell is from your veins. So look at your wrist or look at your arm, and if your veins look more like a blue purple, you're cool. If they look more like a green or like turquoise color, you're warm. If you notice you have a little bit of both, you're neutral. Those are the ways I kind of figure out. I'm naturally a neutral color, so when it's wintertime and I'm really pale, I look more cool toned, but when it's summertime and I'm nice and tan like I am now, I'm a little bit more warm toned, which means I have more of a yellow color to my skin, whereas with cool tone, you have more of a blue or a pink. It can kind of be either or. With neutral, you have a little bit of both, so you literally can pull off either look, which is super versatile. But anyways, back to applying the foundation. So what I like to do is I like to put it on my hand, kind of like what we did with the primer, and then I take my finger and I dip it, and I put little dots all around my face, with bigger dots that have more product on them in the places that I know I need more coverage. And this just kind of helps to ensure that you get even coverage all throughout your face. And please excuse this crazy big pimple that I've got going on. So when you're applying your foundation and you're deciding to work in those dots that you just put on, you're gonna take your brush, you're gonna put it on your face, and you're gonna dab. And you're gonna move your brush around. You're not gonna like take it and drag it like up or down or anything. You're gonna kind of dab it. I like to call tapping because it's more like a tap. And you're just gonna move that product around so that it covers everything. And you can see, so like this spot has really good coverage. This one you can still see like my redness poking through. So that means you need to cover that up because no one wants to walk around looking splotchy faced. No one wants that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize now. I didn't realize until I started making these videos that I make some really funny faces when I put on my makeup. I think everyone does, but I'm just gonna apologize now for some of the stupid faces that you guys are probably gonna see. So we're just gonna dab and move. Dab and move, dab and move. Make sure to get all those little crevices because you don't want to miss anything. And I like to cover over my eyes. Some people don't, because some people like to do their eyeshadow and everything before they do foundation. Personally, that's not my journey. And when you're doing these dabs, it's almost kind of like a flick as you're moving it and dabbing, if that makes sense. So it's like down, flick, down, flick, down, flick, down, flick, down, flick, down, flick. It is something that takes a little bit getting used to. So don't expect to be like, don't expect it to feel natural the first time you do it, because it's just not. It takes some getting used to. And then I also like to blend it down into my neck. Now for this, I typically do a little bit more of a dragging motion. It's light. It's not like you're like taking your brush and like pushing it in your face and like pulling down. Like that's not it. It's like a light pull. Okay, so we have foundation on now. Now in the next video that I'm going to do, we're going to go over concealers. And concealers are really fun because you can do so much with them. Concealers are used to hide blemishes. They're used to help like re-sculpture your face. I like to say they're used to play up the good parts of your face that you want to play up. Makeup is all about creating what you want other people to see. So like me, I really like my eyes. So I like to play up my eyes so that it's the first thing that people see, and they see them and they're like, ooh, her eyes are really, really pretty. Some people, it's their cheeks. They love their cheeks, so they want to play up their cheeks a little bit more, make them look rosy and like youthful and glowy. It's all about what you feel confident about and what you want to play up, what you want people to notice about you. And that's the great thing with makeup, is you can play things up. You can make things that aren't there look like they're there, or things that are there look like they're not. You can literally recreate your face if that's really what you want to do. And I know people that they do like doing that. I like to do that sometimes. It's fun. It's creative. So that's what I have for you guys today. We applied our primer and we applied our foundation. So in the next video, we're going to go ahead and cover concealers. If you guys have any questions or anything, please feel free, reach out on my social media accounts. I'll have those down below in the description box. Comment down below if you don't want to get on social media and reach out, that's fine. I'm going to link the brushes that I recommend down below. I always get mine at Ulta just because I've worked for Ulta before and I just like Ulta. So that's what I have for you. I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. stay healthy, don't do anything I wouldn't do.